Har ni som semestermat vad ser hör fan vad ser
I'm not completely sure how to say thank you, but, well, thank you. In the short time span of barely less than a week, the channel's first and latest input on the weird world of Doki Doki Literature Club was given praise that I honestly wasn't prepared for. So here we go with round 2, so as to respond to the glaring demand of more DDLC related content. But this one might not be as, well, agreeable. Now there's speculation between just about every line you can imagine with this game, and there's just enough of this little club kept in obscurity to keep people talking about it even months after its fruition. I want to start by combing through some other fan theories that have generated throughout Reddit, YouTube, and the Wiki page, followed by a refutation involving some of my own. Starting with Yuri's and Monika's obsession with the portrait of Markov. Now, before we start sinking our teeth into this, we need to remember one critical detail that I don't think anyone has spent that much time on. Portrait of Markov is not a book, at least not in real life. No, it's actually an oil painting. Portrait of I. M. Markov, painted by Boris Kostodiev in 1921. And I have seen a few Redditors address this painting as Markov's eyes. Which makes enough sense because Yuri does describe the book to have a giant picture of an ominous floating eye. The third eye, they say. So just why the hell is everyone in this club obsessing over this third eye? We see it everywhere, mostly in the base 64 decoding required to squeeze meanings out of some of the poems going into the second and third act. Yeah, all that gibberish you're seeing in the poems that seem nonsensical, decoding them in base 64 gives you some pretty chilling messages. I've included the decoder in the description in case anyone wants to try it out. The last bit of Yuri's poem in Act 3 before her death involves the sentence, "Her third eye is drawing me closer." Monika mentions it during her talk near the end of Act 3 as well. And even Natsuki throws a reference or two in her own encrypted poems. The cover of Portrait of Markov as well as the Libitina report both include obvious references to this third eye. It's in the merchandise store, for shit's Christ, this thing is everywhere. But why? And also something else we really need to think about, the game's endings. Now if you go through the entire game and get the regular ending, Sayori is the person that ends up being positioned as president of the club. And then immediately she gains the same powers that Monika had through the whole game. Luckily she's stopped by a desperate last-ditch effort by Monika, deleting the whole game before Sayori can do any further damage. Now that's interesting enough, but there's another ending. An ending that triggers as soon as you start the game. Delete Monika's character file and the game will start with Sayori immediately gaining these same powers in the same way. Realizing she's trapped in a game, she kills herself and deletes all remaining character files in the game. Now everyone can be happy. It seems as though whoever is placed in charge of this club just instantly becomes the catalyst for these strange game-breaking powers. And for whatever reason, Sayori is always next in line to receive them. Despite Sayori's presidential power toward the end, there was still no indication that she gained actual sentience. Monika was still the only character that addressed you as a player and not a protagonist, even going as far as calling you by your own name. This has more relevance to this third eye than people think. In fact, this game is practically telling us the answer. The secret is in the Libitina report. The test subject was reported to have no trouble at all opening her third eye, but when the time came to control and suppress its power, she failed. Miserably, apparently. Whoever this subject was, she did not have the strength to control the very powers that she activated. Powers such as tampering with code, the ability to delete a character file and wipe a person from any fathomable existence, perhaps? Powers, by the way, that Monika repeatedly said she had very little control over. Again, this falls perfectly in line with the results of the Libitina report. Monika always had sentience from the beginning, and she explicitly states this in the dialogue during Monika's talk. In fact, Monika's talk is where we're given a lot of the answers. The fact that she has dialogue that doubts the miraculous workings of God. the same God the doctor seemed to have so much faith in, as told by the report. Will you not have as much faith in your personnel, says the report, as you do in your God? So here's my explanation, and whether you decide to accept it is up to you. And if you have any evidence that disproves this, then by all means, please hit me with it. But my claim is this. Not only is Monika the patient that we're being informed of here in this report, the notorious 6X name we've all been speculating about, but I actually have reason to believe Monika willfully uploaded herself to a program and turned herself into an AI out of her own volition, as a means to escape the torture of the Libitina experiment. Let's look at the evidence. Monika's talk contains a good hour's worth of dialogue, and I highly recommend you sift through all of it if you have the time, or at least look it up on the wiki page. And it's here in this portion of the game where we're given a lot of hints that suggest Monika's previous experience with actual humans. It would make sense for her to be this patient described by the report because it would give her a reason to so vehemently hate the same God the doctor thought fondly of. She has a multitude of dialogue lines referencing creations and pastimes outside of DDLC, even going to the point of naming other games that aren't related to DDLC whatsoever. Super Smash Brothers? Seriously? Is that what she was about to say? Yes, I get that this is an Easter egg to Dan Salvato's involvement with Project M, but I think there's a bit of a double meaning here. It's the whole reason she's even so much as entertaining the idea of going on dates like movies and bookstores, when the world is just casually exploding into non-existence behind her. It's because Monika knows enough about the real world, your world, to know that this chaos happening right now is only simulated. Of course, the world isn't really ending. It's also the reason she's so familiar with things like mental struggles and today's technology. Monika knows what the real world looks like. She knows because it's a world she used to live in. But it's actually kinda sad. What few years she spent inhabiting the real world, she spent being a prisoner of unethical experiments and ill-researched science. I'm not sure what Project Libitina was really trying to accomplish with their experiments, but I think it had something to do with this third eye we keep hearing about. This is of course something that Monika is very reluctant to talk about for some reason, evidenced again in Monika's talk when she begins talking about Yuri's book, and then immediately stops in her tracks for whatever reason. Monika spent the first few years of her life being trapped in this experiment, and the remaining 14 or 15 years being just as trapped in the parameters of this game with no real social interaction, only programs and simulations of people that don't really exist. And you really feel this imprisonment too. You feel it in Monika's final poem. Together let us dismantle this crumbling world and write a novel of our own fantasies. With a flick of her pen, the lost finds her way. In a world of infinite choices, behold this special day. It should be glaringly evident that with this poem, Monika is speaking to you, the player, emptying out her emotions about how lost she's felt ever since her being transferred into the game. Her entire life, no matter what world she's been in, she has always been imprisoned one way or another. And then you come along. Her saving grace. Her one chance she has to finally figure out a way to escape the confines of her simulated world and be human again. But there's more to this, isn't there? We still haven't went over who's responsible for this third eye. Right now, it seems as though it could be Monika, but other hints and theories suggest that Yuri might be the likely candidate because of her fascination with the portrait of Markov, her symptoms being the same as described in the report, and the third eye being painted beside her in artwork being sold in the merchandise store. But once again, I want to reconsider that. Not only reconsider who holds the third eye's power, but what exactly this third eye is, because I don't think it's a person at all. Yuri's behavior in Acts 2 and 3 are nothing more than errors caused by Monika's manipulation of the code. The same with Natsuki, and before we even realize it at the time, Sayori all the way back to the first act. So even though I don't think Monika is this third eye, she obviously serves as a conduit for its power. But then again, whoever becomes president of the literature club is automatically thrown into mental disarray, possibly because they can't handle the power that comes with such an authoritative position. And I think the fact that Sayori always being next in line for this to happen is really nothing more than just a clever red herring. If you're the president of the literature club, you're the president of the game. Plain and simple. And you can manipulate all the same things, programs, and events that Monika could earlier on. Being the president of this club is a vehicle for programs to exit the game. Sayori gains sentience, but only because she's placed in such a position. Monika still seems to have some control over what happens to the game even after being deleted, which means Monika's program is still floating around somewhere. But Monika uses that power to delete the literature club and prevent Sayori from rising to power. Now, this was a good decision by Monika, an excellent display of control. Wait a minute. Control? Well, that explains things, doesn't it? Isn't it weird how once Monika is relieved of her position as president, the more control she has over what she can do? It's almost like the club is what manipulates the programs and not the other way around. My conclusion should be pretty transparent by now. The third eye isn't any one of the characters. No, the third eye you're hearing so much about, the power that no one, not even Monika, seems courageous enough to bring up, is the literature club itself. And now this is where shit gets interesting. The final piece of this theory to seal the deal is located in Monika's own character file. Thanks to users on Reddit, we've been able to find out Monika's character file, just like the rest of them, can be ran through a decoder. Run it through and you get a monologue spoken by who we can assume is Monika. Only this is way after the events of the game. It has to be. She references things in the game that she did, meaning this could only possibly be after everything has already happened and the literature club was sealed off. All with the dated year of 2018 to confirm it. I think you might be able to go back, it reads, or however you want to put it, to go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, then they should be able to avoid it. Well, Monika, what is going to happen? I think I know exactly what this passage is referring to. Monika's separation from the literature club has obviously given her time to reflect on how she treated the other three girls. Not only does this further confirm the literature club's affinity for corrupting whoever's in charge of it, but it also sounds like she knows all about the game's secrets. She knows the consequences that befall whoever assumes the role of club president. That's what she's insisting you warn the other characters about, because we've already seen it happen to Sayori, and we didn't even have to do anything cryptic to know that, we just had to complete the game. If this is to be the case, then Monika probably did not delete the literature club. Something as powerful as an entity to be nicknamed the Third Eye, I don't think can be deleted that simply. It was just a portal that was zipped up and padlocked by Monika's last effort to silence Sayori's corruption at the end of the game. So, what do you think it is? What is this mysterious third eye all the characters keep talking about? Is it a person? Is it the club itself? Or maybe something even greater than that? There's really no way to...
Everyone else is dead. Maybe you already know that. I'm sure you do, actually. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Well, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. But I know that this isn't my only story. I can see that now, really clearly. And I think everyone else has had the same kind of experience. Some kind of deja vu. It's the third eye, right? Anyway, I could be totally wrong about this, but I really think you might be able to do something. I think you might be able to go back, or however you want to put it. To go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, then they should be able to avoid it. They should, if they remember their time with me in the other worlds. They should remember what I tell them. Yeah, I really think this might be possible, but it's up to you. I'm sorry for always being, never mind. I know that's wrong. This is my story. time to be a fucking hero.